I think you already give opening remarks.
Oh, Mr. President, I haven't given opening remarks.
Okay, you are in order.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the car title reform legislation, House File Number 5, comes to us from the Iowa House, where it passed on a vote of 84 to 12. This is the same legislation that was approved by the Iowa Senate 3 times in 2005 and twice last year. The last time we voted on this bill on March 1st, 2006, it passed in the Senate on a vote of 47 to 3. With the exception of our freshman senators and Senators Angelo, Bain, and Zeman, every member of the Senate voted for the bill before us today. These car title reforms lower the predatory interest rate of 264% to 360% interest on car title loans, which are secured by the consumer's car. The bill establishes a much more reasonable interest rate of 21% APR. Charging desperate consumers 250% and more rate of interest for a loan isn't throwing them a life raft. It's throwing them a concrete anchor. These high-interest car title loans sink consumers further into debt and make it even harder for them to recover their credit. Under current law, the sky is the limit on interest rates. The legislature never approved high-interest rate car loans. Car title lenders and their lobbyists have craftily taken advantage of the deregulation of credit card interest rates to offer this product at unlimited interest rates. Today, we will close the loophole that these companies have taken advantage of since 2004. These are secured loans, so triple-digit rates are unwarranted. If a borrower doesn't pay, the borrower loses his or her vehicle. That's a heavy price to pay for failing to pay off a loan, and is why Iowa currently caps interest rates on ordinary car loans to either 21% or 36% APR. Car title lenders don't need extra security. The car is enough security without also charging triple-digit interest rates. Not only are consumers paying abusive interest rates, they are also losing one of their most important assets, their car or truck. We've all heard stories, and I can tell you I've heard stories from constituents and Iowans that have gotten themselves in trouble with car title lending. In 2005, 1,020 families had their cars repossessed. This is an incredible burden for those that lose their transportation. How do people get to work? How do people get to school? How do they get to the doctor's office without this kind of transportation? 25 states have banned these loans, and approximately 70% of Americans live in states that don't permit these loans or limit the interest rates to rates much lower than the current ones we face in Iowa. This bill has many supporters. Iowa Attorney General Tom Miller has been a strong advocate. The Iowa Catholic Conference, Iowa Citizen Action Network, Iowa Commission on the Status of Women, Iowa Coalition Against Abusive Lending, Iowa Coalition Against Domestic Violence, United Steelworkers, International Brotherhood of Teamsters, Communication Workers of Iowa, Lutheran Social Services, National Association of Social Workers, Amos, Child and Family Policy Center, Iowa Federation of Labor, Iowa Caregivers Association, Interfaith Alliance of Iowa, Iowa Community Action Association, and finally AFSCME Council 61. Critics of this reform package say that these loans are a service to people. Wrecking someone's credit is not a service to people. Making loans to people that can't pay them back is not a service. Putting a family's means of transportation at risk of repossession is not a service. Driving families deeper into debt is also not a service. For 160 years in Iowa, this form of predatory lending did not exist. Couldn't do it. Wasn't happening. We did fine without ripping off the hard-working, tax-paying Iowans with these outrageously costing loans. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, there are alternatives. Families, friends, relatives, employers, payday lenders, credit unions, and banks. Card title lending is the most abusive form of lending, predatory lending in our state, and it's time to close the loophole that's been taken advantage of, and it's time to provide protection against these predators. Mr. President, those are my opening comments. I'd be happy to answer questions. There is an amendment.